Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Renee Allen and Friends show. My God, I'm sweating up here. Are you?
Just about.
It's worth it for all of you out there.
Right.
So I am sitting here with the fabulous author to the penning book,
Yes.
Follow
The leader.
the Leader.
Follow the leader, yes.
But we want to talk about you first, because I know this is an exclusive. This is the first interview about this wonderful book on the Renee Allen and Friends show, so I'm excited, okay?
Yes,
But we
yes.
want to first thank DC Nightlife, Daryl Carter, J.B. Jones, Millie Holmes. You know, they are the bombdiggity.com.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
we have this thread of people, which I met you on, where we have, oh my goodness, all kind. Oh, I'm forgetting now, Darius, and who else is on there?
and
Darlene
several
Brown.
people. Right,
Oh
right.
God, don't get. The Coaches Bureau.
Yes.
Daryl. There are
Yes,
3
Daryl.
Daryls on there.
3 Daryls.
But anyway, it's just a wonderful group of people who just help each other, empower each other, and want you to succeed. And
Right.
that's exactly what we're trying to do here.
Absolutely.
So you're here. So tell us about you.
Sure. So my name is Stephanie Mickle. I am an author, an attorney, an entrepreneur.
Triple threat, y'all.
Triple threat.
Beauty, brains, and all that.
right. And came to Washington like most people, following a dream to work in the political realm. And after 20 plus years of education and professional experience in the political realm, I decided to write a book and share with people what I learned on my political journey and how more women can get involved in the political process. Now, I have a public affairs company.
Yes, J.B. Jones told me about that.
Yes, I have a public
ma'am.
affairs company, and so we work with politicians, trade associations, individuals, anybody who's trying to get their brand out there, anybody who wants to do strategic messaging. We all know, and we've all seen those situations where people step in it. When they say something on camera, they probably wish they hadn't.
Yes.
And so we work with people to try to minimize
Not
those,
us yet, but
We haven't done that yet today, but
knock
we're
on wood and everything.
right. But yeah, we work with people to try to minimize those things and really help them be successful in what they're wanting to accomplish.
Awesome. You know, I'd like to ask you a few questions. One in particular is being involved in politics, being a black, smart, beautiful woman, walking through the halls of Capitol Hill. What are some or one of the things you had to overcome?
Overcoming many things. I think one of the most important things, and I don't think this is unique to politics, but it's certainly more pronounced in places where there are not a lot of people that look like me.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is people understanding how you got there. You know, there is not an assumption that I went to Harvard, but I did. You know, there is not an assumption that I'm
set it
something
straight.
other than a secretary.
Yeah.
But I am. I was the former general counsel to a United States senator.
Hello.
But when you look like me, people don't think, okay, she's got it. You know, maybe she got here because of her looks. They don't think that you're necessarily qualified, and so there's a lot of work that you have to do to overcome it. But you know, I believe very strongly that most people want to see the best. So when you show up prepared and you show up ready to perform, then a lot of that will go away. A lot of it will go away.
Oh, God bless your heart. You know, because hopefully you're right and I'm wrong, because I just see it getting worse and worse because people just feed off of someone else doing bad. People tend to stereotype, as you said, you're beautiful, but how could there be Harvard in her thread, you know, like President Obama, etc. You know, it's just something we're just going to have to just keep it moving, you know, and pray that you're right, that it will get better. But whether it gets better or not, I think what we have to really concentrate on is just doing our best to be in the room and be at the tables, right?
Yes, and that's how it gets better, really, because at some point you have to figure out how to tune out the noise so that you can do what you're here to do.
Tune out the noise.
Yeah, at some point you have to figure that out, and preferably sooner rather than later. That way you can be as effective as you need to be in that space. So that's very, very important as well.
Well, what's 1 or 2 tips that you've used and would suggest people using to maneuver through some of those things?
Well, again, be prepared. Be on time, be early, be dressed the part, look the part, be friendly. I think that's very important. A lot of people think you have to be super aggressive, super angry, super a lot of things to be successful in politics. But if you look at the most successful politicians, men and women, take Barack Obama, take Bill Clinton, they are likable. They are brilliant, but they are likable. And so I really would encourage people to, we all want to get to the top. There is no one who works in politics, certainly not on Capitol Hill, that's not driven, that's not, type A, that's not about that life. But if you want to be successful, just be mindful of that, because you can get a lot more accomplished. You can work in more bipartisanship ways. And I know bipartisanship is something that nobody even thinks is possible anymore, because there is so much contention and so much so much that's going on that people think, oh, how can a Democrat and a Republican work together? But I work very closely with people on both sides of the aisle, and it's because I chose to see the commonalities in terms of what we were wanting to accomplish in legislation, and also I chose to see the humanity. A lot of times, as people, we forget that the person on the other side of the table is a human being, and they have concerns, they have fears, they have families, they have finances, all of these things that are super duper important to them. So that's one suggestion that I would offer. Another suggestion that I would say is to have allies. No person is an island. You can try to function that way, and it may work for a little while for you, but it works so much better in the political space if you have allies. So if I'm a woman and I'm trying to break into the political business, let me start to develop some relationships with people who have things that can be complementary to the skills that I have. They may have resources. They may know people. They may be able to write a check. And my book talks about all of those things, not just the person who's out running for office. It talks about the people who are behind the scenes, but still very, very important to an individual's ultimate success. It's easy to see Donald Trump on television or any politician on television and think it's all him, but it's really not. There's a whole network of people in any political person's space that help them get to be the face of their campaign.
Yes, ma'am. I forgot to tell you that name was forbidden on my show.
Oh, my apologies. I try not to say it too often myself.
You can say 45, maybe.
45.
But we're a 44 show.
Right. Okay, right. Forever 44.
Yes, girl. Okay, but I love you so much, I'm going to forgive you.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate I will not let it happen again. That's right. That's something else y'all can learn from my book. Don't do it twice.
Well, that's a nice segue earlier that you said I'm getting into politics. How did you get into politics?
Well, I actually started as a little girl because my grandfather was a block captain, a Democratic block captain in our hometown. Yes, and I adored my grandfather. So anything he was doing, I wanted to follow him around. And he was the person back in the 60s, back when black folks first got the right to vote, that everybody would come to and say, who should I vote for? And the candidates would come and say, we need you to support us.
So your granddad.
My grandfather did that. And so seeing that kind of influence and seeing someone who cared enough about his community to say, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to meet with candidates and I'm going to decide who I'm going to endorse. I'm going to decide who I'm not going to endorse. I'm going to put my name on the line and say, I'm going to vouch for this person and other people are going to listen to me. I thought, wow, that's really amazing. That's very impactful. That is amazing. And so I, would just learn kind of via osmosis, just being in the room, hearing those conversations. And then when I got to college, I took a class called Race and Public Policy. And Race and Public Policy was a class that basically explained the numbers behind things I sort of knew at a gut level, like why certain neighborhoods look the way that they do, why certain schools are underfunded, why certain populations go to jail more than others, all of these things. And I started to see the numbers, and that really got me hooked because I said, okay, so there's a method to this. There's a methodology and a system to what we're seeing in a political space. So when a person runs for office, now I know that there's numbers behind the decisions that they're making, or there's numbers that that don't support the decisions that they're making. And so for me, that was my launching pad, and that's when I decided to go on to Harvard and pursue the career the path that I've chosen.
Yes, ma'am. Well, let's get into this book since it's exclusive with the Renee Allen Friends Show. Follow the Leader. You are brilliant. You are a leader.
Thank you.
How did you come up with the title? And let's talk a little bit about it.
Oh wow! So we're gonna jump right into the deep.
Yes.
I love it. Yes, let's talk deep stuff first. So Follow the Leader is a title that is a response to many things. The first thing that it's a response to, and I'm going to just mention these in no particular order, is the fact that there is a lot of misinformation in the air and on the media right now. There's a lot of confusion around what is truthful and what is not, what is false and what is verifiable, what is fact and what is fiction. There's a ton of misinformation, probably more than I've seen in my career, in the 20 years of fake news. Exactly. And there's a full-out assault on the First Amendment to try to confuse people and to make people really leery of the information that they're being provided. And so Follow the Leader is a challenge to the reader to say, you know what, do your homework. Take some time and find out what's really true. Don't assume just because you saw it on the internet or because you saw it on someone's television show or someone's blog that it's actually true. And so, Follow the Leader means you be your own leader. So that's the next thing that it says is, okay, I'm responsible for my own education. I'm responsible for my own knowledge. And that matters because, not just because I care about politics, but because I care about my family. I care about my own life, my own quality of life, my own community, my own job. All of these things are impacted in the political space. And so that's another thing that Follow the Leader talks about is your own internal compass. And, and for me, that is God. That's my relationship with the Lord. And so the next part of it is, how do I impact society? How do I live out my purpose in such a way that I'm following the leader? And, for me, deep. That has been in the political arena. For someone else, it may be in business or, it may be as a homemaker. It could be any number of things, but, really being true to what your purpose is. And my political path is charted through that discussion of following the leader. So that's how the title came about.
That is so deep that we could have another hour just about the title.
Well, I'll come back.
We're going to come back in July when this book really launches so I can have a hard copy right here.
Yes, ma'am. You got it.
But before we have to go, because we have one more guest, talk to the people that are listening or who will see the video coverage afterwards about, first of all, being in the political arena, right? I know you touched on it, but give them really your own personal silhouette of what they should be looking for if they want to get into this or should expect getting into this arena.
Right. Okay, so a couple of things immediately come to mind. One, and these are going to be practical suggestions for you. Be very careful about what you put on social media. And I am all over social media. But be very careful about that. Not that you don't have a right to express yourself, but just know that there's attribution if you decide to run for office based on how you express yourself. So be confident in whatever it is that you're putting out there, but just know that it'll be something that you may be asked to explain. And we see it all the time where a teacher gets fired because she put something on social media. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is look at how you show up. And again, this is really about being your best. Make sure that whatever it is that you're passionate about, whatever it is that your platform is, whatever the reason is that you want to get involved in politics, you're at your best about it. So if you say, I care about criminal justice, have some data to back that up. Have some facts to back it up. Don't just have anecdotes about who you know, what happened with them, but actually have facts about it, verifiable facts that someone can check out, because that helps your credibility. That helps to strengthen you as a candidate. And that helps people to get excited about what it is that you're offering in terms of a solution. Most people get involved in politics because they believe they can make a difference in some form or another. And so if you have a solution that is fact-based, that's data-based, then that makes you stand out far more than the person who's just jumping up and down and you know, yelling at the top of their lungs and being emotional. You look like you've seen that before. You know, that makes you much, you know, puts you a lot further ahead of the game. So those would be two suggestions that I would make.
Great. I want people to know, first of all, how to get a hold of you.
Yes.
I'm sure you do speaking engagements.
Yes.
Yes, because already you have the whole studio mesmerized. So give them a way to get a hold of you for engagements or to speak with you or to get the book or to pre-order.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So there are multiple ways to get in touch with me. I am on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. My website is www.stephaniemickle.com. My office number is 202-403-2294. My Twitter handle is Stephanie Mickle. Actually, all my handles are Stephanie Mickle, except my company handles, which are Mickle Public Affairs. But that's the best way to get in touch with me. That's the best way to find out what's going on with the book, with Follow the Leader. There's a lot of information there. The best way to do pre-sales, for you to pre-order the book, is through the website. So again, that's www.stephaniemickle.com.
Yes, and I will be following this leader. You will be able to witness her book and all the great stuff happening in the latter part of June, beginning of July, when she gets ready to launch this puppy, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm going to put a little bit of Silver Logan Sharp. Oh, wait a minute. I have two, oh my goodness, I have two winners for... They have the Jazz Fest.
Yes.
DC Nightlife.
Yes.
Do you have those flyers? Did I even include those, Jacob? Because we have two winners, and I want to name them on air.
Wow, fantastic.
That's one, yes. And actually, for that one, Diamond Balboa is the winner of 2 tickets. Yes! And for the other, and for the Wine Spirits Musical Festival, it's Sharon Canterbury. Sharon Canterbury. So we have 2 winners. You both get 2 tickets. Thank you, DC Nightlife. Thank you, Stephanie Mickle. We'll be seeing you again. You're a friend of the show now, girl.
Absolutely. Thank
We'll be right back with Silver Logan Sharp. Enjoy her song from the Groovement CD. Yay!